All right. Greetings. Welcome to Dorsey's Resource. First, before we get started, as I usually do, this video is for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Please understand everyone's individual circumstance or situation may be different. It's up to every individual competent person to please do his or her own homework and research regarding the matter being discussed. This information is not to be construed as legal advice. Any event you feel you need to seek a competent professional, it is encouraged you do so at one's own leisure. Dorsey's Resource Channel is not liable or responsible for any misuse of this information. Also, please keep in mind that any content creators or individuals affiliated with Dorsey's Resource are not in no way, shape, or form represent the political views or opinions expressed with the content creator. All rights are reserved. Now, I want to get into the topic without further ado. The topic of this video is dealing with major changes coming to YouTube. I wanted to give my weigh in what's happening. I have some notes that I've gathered. Every content creator recently should have been sent a message, by the way. I see someone in the chat, Victor Collins. Thank you for joining there. So to get in, YouTube will be enforcing this new COPA law. I heard they recently just settled some type of lawsuit with the FTC. Allegedly, there was some lobbyist group or group of people who mentioned that there was certain content on YouTube that was made for children they felt was a violation of these Children's Privacy Act or something to that regard. So the FTC, some years ago, they came to YouTube back in 2013. This is some of the backstory, and allegedly YouTube stated at the time their content was for 13 and up. But this group, lobbyist group or whatever, that did this research saw that YouTube had a large proportion or number of children, I guess in general, who were watching their content, who utilized their content quite a bit, by the way. And I'm going to speak to these things if I have enough time, my theory as to what's taking place. But this will possibly affect what's coming down a pipeline. They say content creators who make content for children are now going to have ads limited. They will no longer be able to have comments in the comment section of specific content creators. So YouTube sent a message to every single content creator. They wanted to know, some of you all may know this information already. This is kind of late, by the way. It's a few days after I received the message. And they want to know if your content is made for children or not. I want to say my content was not intended for children in general. This is for a mature audience. However, you know, I can't, as a content creator and just someone who's uploading videos in general, cannot control who watches or who sees my videos, etc. I'm very aware of that, just like no one in general can. Now, parents can set filters, whatever they want their kids to watch or check out. However, it's up to them if they feel that this content or type of information I provided previously is for them. But with this COPA law, it is being enforced by the Federal Trade Commission, and it was stated that allegedly it says if you were found in violation, it states on their website, you can be fined over $42,000 for violating this particular law. So they say that coming this January, YouTube, if you don't make a decision as a content creator, they are going to decide if your content is made for children. But where it's a slippery slope or a gray area, from listening to some lawyers who gave a weigh-in about this new coming enforcement, have stated that the problem with this rollout of this new criteria is very vague, because many different things could appeal to children or teenagers. You know, teenagers still, some people still call them babies or children, even though they're not fully grown. Legally, they're not until they turn 18. They're still up under their parents' guardianship or rule, by the way. So I'm assuming that applies because there's like a middle area. So the box I checked is that my content, in case you are wondering, is made for adults. However, they said that YouTube can decide if you have videos that they feel has celebrities or characters or even actors or models according to YouTube's definition of for kids, these are factors to consider, then you know, they could deem that, say, your video is made for children even though you mark that it's not. And that right there, you know, you guys can read between the lines, is in a sense, for a lot of people, is not cool because the language is vague, it's not clear, it's not concise as far as the actual language, and the law needs to be distinctive and precise. This is like why they're coming after people that have family-friendly content. By the way, there's a lot of people. I would say the most my channel is like, you know how movies give a rating between PG, PG-13, and rated R. I would say the most that my content is ever gone up to is like PG-13. Even though some of my videos were slightly demonetized as a level where if it's put in the yellow, that was just only a few videos where I challenged them. Out of all my videos that I've had on my channel, I can't think of the exact number of videos that I've uploaded. But however, some of them I challenged, most of them I won the challenges, but they'll put a yellow indication if they find that's like not completely rated R, or like they say that you have some really bad content in your video or whatever. So most of my channel has always been PG-13. I've only used profanity or curse words, language, a very limited amount, and I can't even think of which videos or whatever. You know, what you see is what you get. This is a vlog, so I might have to, and other content creators may have to move their content over to other platforms, because this appears as though YouTube, I was informed, has basically sold out to the FTC through this lawsuit they had to settle. They had to pay a big, large fine, by the way. Money Boy Films in the building. Greetings, family. He says, what's up? Greetings to you. Thank you for joining, Money Boy. So this could affect my channel. I don't know what they're going to deem as far as made for children, because this is still a gray area. They're saying it's going to be enforced starting this January. So if you've seen other content creators on YouTube, if you're wondering why are they making sudden changes all of a sudden, everybody who's a content creator received this message. And I said previously, YouTube used to be awesome, had a great platform, and I'm not going to totally sit here and try to knock YouTube for this decision, because it appears as though they tried to hold this off, but they was only so long they could do it, because this lobbyist group that targeted or came after YouTube back in 2013, from what information that I gathered, was YouTube challenged to say, hey, our platform is for 13 and up. And they say, well, you guys have children or kids under 13 watching your content, a large proportion. What I also think is that they don't want young people or children being empowered with great knowledge. So the FTC or whoever, the globalists or ruling class, in my opinion, that are behind this, are trying to keep members of the population controlled and dumbed down. And they really want to target your children, especially with when they're pushing these other type of agendas and stuff out there. I'll let you guys read between the lines at different schools, libraries, and stuff like that. Wink, wink. You know that there's a political agenda that's being pushed when children are not mature enough. But how come, you know, that YouTube is being targeted when you have other things that are concerning to a significant portion of parents out there, like some years back when Common Core was being pushed within the school system, and parents said they were spending a large number of hours trying to help their children with their homework, because it was not the system that was being used prior was a lot easier, but this curriculum was forced as though to punish parents or make things more difficult when they claim it was supposed to be better, is based off a European system. If you guys are familiar with Common Core, the schools that are required to follow that curriculum. But so one should question, why is this particular law why is YouTube being targeted, by the way, because they do have a large portion of people that have a subscriber base where millions of people, the amount is up there, I don't know the exact numbers, but get a lot of information like self-help videos, tutorials. There's a plethora of stuff. So in my humble opinion, I think this is also an attack to keep members and young members of the population from being waking up, to keep them dumbed down. So I'll read, somebody mentioned something in the chat section, by the way. Victor Colin says Patreon. Yes, thank you for confirming. I am, like I said previously, I should have been on Patreon a long time ago. I want to mention there are also other subscriber-based platforms as well. Patreon is not the only one. There was one in particular I looked at. I was trying to find it. I may not be able to find it anymore. Some years ago, I should have actually bookmarked it, where it allows you to upload documents and has you can set the rate that people would donate to for content, where they could get access to the documents and things, and that would be something that would help the model that I have for the type of information that I go over. For those who like the topic that I mainly cover about redemption information and some of the other topics I've covered dealing with the foreign currency. But I want to say once again that my channel in particular is for mature audiences. Now, if parents, it's up to parents if they decide, because parents are the ultimate guardian. Whoever, if someone is under 18, whoever their legal guardian is, you know, you have to answer to that person if you're in their household legally by law. Their children, young people are required by law to have a guardian, so they would determine what their kids watch, but it would depend on how involved with their children's lives or the young person that they have guardianship over, by the way. So just giving my way in, I'm going to try to go over some more information. So I went over all content creators were notified about this new law they feel is made for children. This is a new rollout of criteria. I want to say once again, the language is very vague because many things could appeal to children. Like, for example, once again, if you have celebrities, you mention characters, even actors, video games, according to YouTube's definition made for kids, they could say that even though you said your video was not made for children, but they said that it is, or one particular video, because you had actually the option to choose. I put all my videos are for adults or mature audiences. Because some people, obviously, if I had a channel made for children, then I would have, obviously, you know, you guys would know, because I kind of went over I go over a versatile plethora of information that's sort of versatile in a sense. I don't have an identity in one regard, but if I did have a channel, like, for example, if I want to make a channel about video games, there's people that have channels about hair, cutting hair. There's women who have channels, beauty channels. There's people that have different channels that talk about different topics. So if I had a channel, I just want to say, where I wanted to talk about children or whatever, or things geared towards children, then that obviously I would have things, better graphics and things to appeal to that. So I want to say, for and on the record, if they try to make something up, you know, that I violated the law, I just want you guys to know there may be a call to action, and even from other content creators, that we see where this can potentially go south. And there's some really good people who are concerned on YouTube, who are like YouTube coaches, Daryl Eves being one of them, just to throw some names out there. There's some others out there that are concerned, and they feel that there's going to be a ripple effect because you know, activities that appeal to children, such as singing, dancing, does just mentioning this, does this violate would your video violate, and you know, the terms of agreement? Would this be made for children, for example? Like, if you had something about or if you mentioned something with dealing with popular mainstream culture, by the way. And you guys are welcome to thumbs up if you agree with what I'm saying so far. If you feel this is good information, if this is new to you, feel free to give this video a thumbs up. Remember, you can subscribe, by the way, hit the notification bell to receive updates as long as I am on YouTube. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up and warning how this could affect my channel and other content creators out there. You guys may have already heard. This is sort of, I'm sort of late, but I feel I needed to cover this because this could affect my channel as well. So if something happens to my channel, you guys would have a heads up that YouTube or the FTC, which is taking over, possibly did this. And if they've given control over to the FTC, by the way, this could not only be something that applies to children, but you could also see other future terms of service, because YouTube oftentimes gives notifications to content creators to my main Gmail account that's attached to my main channel, about new terms of service, like rules that they have, by the way. And they said they've already updated like 2 or 3 times this year already. So this is definitely like some new world order type stuff where every content creator has been contacted if you have a YouTube social media account, by the way. So this is real interesting. Let me know, guys, in the comment section too, what's your concern. If you have any concerns about this, feel free to chime in as I'm doing this live video. By the way, this is Q&A.
269, all units, radio check.
Hold on, guys, you already know. Okay, I'm back. So without, just to kind of reiterate, and I'm going to get to the chat. I saw somebody left a comment in the chat section. So this is once again a gray area. If YouTube feels, let's say if you say my channel, for example, is made for adults, mature audiences, but they say this particular video was made for children, are they fairly determining that? Is this, some say this is a draconian rule that could be set to selectively could target people even for political purposes as well.
Robert Holmes,
if they deem that this is something that they want to target you for, by the way. So so once again, on the FTC's website, it says you could be fined over $42,000 if you're found violating this law, and that's pretty steep. They said not only can YouTube come after you or remove your channel entirely, but they can also individually come after the content creator, which this is pretty steep, by the way. A very steep penalty, considering that people don't have the money to get lawyered up like this to fight this if you were targeted, by the way. So this could be used to target someone for political purposes as well, because allegedly this was a lobbyist group, which could be an inside job, by the way, since the way YouTube is given in to the FTC. But I do feel you do need regulations, because many companies are found to be violating antitrust laws. You look at the NCAA. I support players getting paid, for their likeness and image. I felt for a number of years, if colleges make millions and billions of dollars off of these athletes, they at least deserve something. They deserve a trust fund or something if they don't make it to the league professionally. Sometimes athletes get hurt, where their professional careers are ended, maybe from a horrible knee injury or something. And while they were college athletes, they were stars in a sense, where many of us who knew or keep up with it. So they deserve access, especially if the colleges are making billions of dollars off them. So I felt, so that was a violation of antitrust laws. Kudos to Ed O'Bannon, who used to play for the UCLA Bruins. By the way, you can look up the information, and the NCAA was actually ordered some years ago to actually pay a fine or penalty. So you see how big corporations can abuse their power. So I even question, I don't know if YouTube was in on this, but it does make you wonder, with all the violations or the strict new rollout of rules that Google, which controls YouTube, comes out with periodically, when we've already had a lot of rules. So I may be going to other platforms, as I mentioned already. I'm also on minds.com. I also received some inquiries, by the way. I want to give you guys a heads up. I'm not ignoring you. I had the messages disabled on my Facebook account because the number of messages that I get, and it takes time for me to answer you guys' questions, because I'm a thinker. I have to brainstorm. I get asked, some really tough, difficult questions that it can be very time consuming. So I want to let you know, if you want to reach me for serious inquiries, and I will try to get with you. I have an alternate email address other than some of my other main email addresses for this channel specifically. You can reach me at Dorsey's Resource 2017 at gmail.com. That's Dorsey's Resource, together, spelled D as in David, O as in Oscar, R as in Roberto, S as in Sally, E as in Edward, Y as in Yolanda or Yo-Yo, S as in Sam. Dorsey's, and then the term resource, together as one word, 2017. Resource, spelled R as in Robert, E as in Edward, S as in Sam, O as in Oscar, U as in Universe, R as in Robert, C as in Cup, E as in Edward. Dorsey's Resource 2017 at gmail.com for serious inquiries. If you have questions, this is directed at the individual that sent me a message I just saw it very vaguely. Sometimes I'm on Facebook. A lot of times I'll get on there. I have a personal account and I'll just read a few posts, but I don't want to become addicted to it too, because you have a busy life and things of that sort. You want to try to focus on things that are important, handling business as an adult, you know. And there's things I'm also still working on, the Patreon. I'm just trying to develop different ideas, the model that I'm going to have for you guys down the road. I am working on some content just to give you guys a sneak preview. I'm just contemplating if I'm going to go over information dealing with the banking system, because I feel if I'm able to break that down, you guys will have a better blueprint of how the information that I've talked about previously works. You guys would have a good understanding with being able to connect the pieces. That's why I go over those documentaries, why I have in a lot of my previous videos. You say, hey, why does Dorsey keep repeating that? It's because I'm driving a point home, but I'm also building you up to connect the pieces to see who the rulers are, the ruling class elite who are above Trump, who control the entire system worldwide, how they fund wars, how they use their banks, have been responsible. Remember Chase Bank? There was a ship recently that was owned by a hedge fund by Chase Bank that was caught with drugs on board. And now years ago, there was an instance where Bank of America was caught up in the scandal. So this is not a coincidence, guys. There's been many evidence. Check out the movie called Kill the Messenger. Was released at certain theaters certain years ago. The guy that played in The Wire, one of the guys played in that movie, Kill the Messenger. That was based off a reporter that used to work for the San Jose Mercury News years ago named Gary Webb, who was exposing how it was members, bad actors, deep state members, what would be known as the CIA slash cabal group that was bringing drugs into the neighborhood and specifically targeting minority communities. Remember, during the Reagan administration, you had the Iran-Contra scandal with, you know, the thing going on with South America. It's different activists. You guys can look up information. Some of you guys already know about that. Hold on, guys. Okay, sorry about that, guys. As you guys know, as I call it, I'm at the slavery plantation. I wanted to give you guys an action-packed video, by the way. So, yeah, I'm back real quick just to go over, to finish wrapping things up, by the way. I'm going to get to the comments section real quick. Says, someone named Denware says, hey, Dorsey, we have to talk about laws of equity in the Bar Association. Okay, cool. Thank you. 7100 Warhawk says, hello, my brother. Good evening. Good seeing you, Warhawk. Big shout out to you. Victor Colin says, Vimeo, Daily Motion, Jetpack, Wistia. I've heard of Vimeo and Daily Motion. The others I'm not familiar with. Thank you, Victor, for that. You have these as well. Divin Ware says, that's why the laws of equity is important to know, because it applies directly to the U.S. Constitution and lets you know the violations done by foreign agents of the British Crown. Okay, yes, there's a lot of information to cover. What year was that movie? What year was that? It was I believe it was 2014. It was called Kill the Messenger. It was based on Gary Webb. You guys also want to look up, I got to shut things down because, you know, once again, my supervisor is on site, so I do have obligations, just giving you guys a heads up. But that movie is called Kill the Messenger. Also check out, on a side note, Ted Gunderson. By the way, download these videos. Find a YouTube downloader to download these videos while you can on YouTube. Also, check out this documentary called Conspiracy of Silence. Please check out Conspiracy of Silence. And check out the individual named Noreen Gosh. That was the mother. She was actually behind. She pushed for legislation that led to the modern day Amber Alert system. Once again, look up Noreen Gosh. look up the story of Johnny Gosh. If you guys have never heard of this, not familiar, please look this up. This is going to connect some pieces for you guys. Check out the movie Money Masters, Monopoly Men, and there's a documentary called Secret of Oz. If they're still on YouTube, you should still be able to watch it for free, but download these documentaries ASAP while you can before they remove this information, because they don't want you guys to know this information is valuable. So I'm giving you guys action-packed information. I want to thank you guys for following me, even though the topic of that video, I have to cut things shorter than what I intended, but was mainly about the new law YouTube will be enforcing. But you guys can see a gray area that could be used to politically target people as well. And I think this could be an excuse because big money, Hollywood money has came in mainstream, and they want to basically what made YouTube, think of the definition, YouTube, it was about the content creator at one time. So now big mainstream corporate money has come in and taken over, and they're destroying something that was good. So hopefully maybe one day somebody could make something better than YouTube. You know, it's not what it used to be. But with that, on a side note, thank you guys for joining me. I'm your host, John Dorsey. You can follow me on Facebook, on Twitter at Dorsey's Resource, and obviously on YouTube. I'm also on minds.com. Until next time, thank you guys for allowing me to be your host. Take care.